Okay, so now what this video is about is names to formula, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about non-metal and non-metal. That's right, we're kind of done with the metal and non-metal parts. Okay, so hopefully by now you would have watched all the other videos from before, and you would have mastered, and I say mastered, chemical names to formula between metal and non-metal, polyatomic ion, and multivalent metals. Okay, so now we're dealing with non-metal, non-metal. So make sure basically it's pretty much it. Both the atoms that makes up the compound will be from this side of the periodic table. Okay, now also you will not need to use crossover rule anymore. So at this point, you don't have any crossover rule. So in some ways, you'll have to learn a new set of system. However, we do have some nice things. So first off, you will need to learn prefixes. Need to learn prefixes, especially for non-metal compounds. So in this case here, so when we're saying prefix will be little words that you go before the main words. Okay, so mono is one, di is two, tri is three, tetra is four, pent or penta is five. Now this is bracket because in some situations you actually would write down the O there, but in some situations you won't. Okay, and I'll give you some examples later on. Now let's just say, oh, what happened if I have like numbers are six and above? No worries. Here's a website, or here's a screen, which you can see. So for example, mono all the way to penta. Now six will be called hexa, seven is hepta, eight is octa, nine is nona, and 10 is deca. Okay, 10 is deca. So now what do we do? What do we do? So let's do some practices. Okay. So for example, here, carbon monoxide. Okay, we hear carbon monoxide quite a bit. Usually you don't want it to be breathing that in. What you do is this. Again, you look at the name and you write down the symbol. So carbon is C. Oxide means it's oxygen. So it's O, CO. Now, if there's the first word or the first name, if there's no prefixes in front of it, you can assume it's an invisible one. Now, the second word, you will see the prefix. So in this case, monoxide, mono means one. So again, it's a one. Okay. So C1O1, or at this point, you should realize that if it is a one, you make it invisible. So it's actually just CO. All right. So that should be your final answer here. Now, while I'm here, monoxide. Remember earlier I said mono bracket O? So in this situation, you actually don't need to write the O because the O is there. However, if it is something like monochloride, then you need the O there. Okay. Now let's do another one. Dinitrogen trioxide. Dinitrogen trioxide. So nitrogen is N. There's di, means there's two of them. So N2. Oxide is oxygen. And tri means three. So N2O3. Okay. Last but not least, sulfur hexafluoride. Sorry for the erasing. It kind of look a little iffy. So sulfur hexafluoride. So sulfur is S. Now there's no prefix in front, so you can assume it's a 1. Fluoride is capital F. And hexa, remember that other website? It's 6. So in this case, CS1F6. Or when you rewrite it, because you want to make this invisible, it will be SF6. Okay, SF6. In fact, this is a colorless gas, but it's denser than air. So you can do a lot of really cool demo with that. Okay. So hopefully this helps. Again, when you're doing no non-metal, you don't use crossover rule, but you will need to get comfortable with the prefixes. All right. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other question, and definitely make sure you do your homework to practice. All right. Have a good day. Bye now.